Welcome to the second part of our two-part series about how to support your child's mathematical mind at home. In the first part, we talked about what the mathematical mind is and those characteristics of the mathematical mind that we can really help the child to develop. In this part, we're going to talk about a couple mathematical concepts that you can be working on with your child. I want to bring up the concept of numerancy. And numerancy is our ability to understand and work with numbers. Now, before we can ever understand numbers, there are some experiences that we need to have. We need to understand the concepts of larger and smaller, longer and shorter. These experiences in dimension will help key us into understanding numbers and the largeness and smallness of numbers when we start to work with physical quantities. So for your very young child in your home, I want you to focus on those activities that are nurturing the characteristics of the mathematical mind more than any mathematical concept. It's because those characteristics and the development therein is so important in laying the foundation for a child to understand and work with numbers. For the very young child, it's important for them to understand these concepts of large and small and long and short. So at home, what you can do with building blocks is use those building blocks. Can you find a block that is smaller than the one that I have? Or can you find one that is larger than the one that I have? You can give them a little language of larger and smaller, and then they're attaching it to this physical characteristic. You can play games with longer and shorter as well. You can take a ruler and walk around the house with the child. Let's find things that are shorter than this ruler. Let's find things that are longer than this ruler. Little experiences like this really do go a very long way in the child's later understanding of numbers. I love singing number songs with children. They delight in any kind of counting song. These songs are so fun for the child, and it's great to be able to sing with them too. The repetitive nature of these songs is a great pattern that keys into that developing mathematical mind. Now, if you have a child that is closer to the age of 4, you're probably ready to do a little one-to-one correspondence. And that is being able to count items one at a time. You can do this with pieces of pasta. You can do this with coins or buttons or stones, whatever you seem to have around that the child likes to enjoy. And one-to-one correspondence is just that. 1, pull the object down. 2, pull the object down. 3, pull it down. 1 number to 1 object. You can also do number sets with the child, and that would be count me out 5. There's a number set of 5. Count me out 10. There's another number set of 10. So having them count where they're stopping, they're not just counting and going on and on. Some children will count forever, but having to stop at that number set. Now this set is 5. Count me the number 7. And then they're going to count out 7 and stop at 7. This is called a number set. It is another valuable mathematical concept that is at the beginning of our foundations of numerancy. Add another element to this. Let the child feel these quantities. What does 3 feel like in the hand, and what does 7 feel like in the hand? 7 feels larger. It's heavier than 3. The child is working with these hands. These hands are an instrument of the mind, and we are getting some really important information by holding physical quantities like this. Without the child even being very conscious of this, their brain, their mind is taking in these differences, these mathematical differences in the quantities that they're working with. If you have a child that's a little beyond this, go ahead and introduce them to some mathematical operations. This is a lot of fun. Again, you're using physical quantities here. So start with a quantity, let's say, of pasta, and you can make a story to go along with this. Annie has 5 pasta pieces, and I have 2 pasta pieces. We're going to put them together and see how many pasta pieces we have. Put those physical quantities together, let the child count them and discover, 7! There are 7 pasta pieces. Let's do another. You can create whatever story you want. If the child miscounts, it really doesn't matter, because what we're focusing on is the process of that operation. Addition is putting quantities together. You can do this with subtraction too. Start with a quantity and you're going to take some away. How many are left? We have 10 pennies, and your little brother just took 3. How many pennies do we have left? Let's see. Remove the 3 pennies. How many are left? We're working with physical quantities to give these introductions to the operations of mathematics. Another one that's a lot of fun is you start with a small pile of quantity. Have the child count what's there. Then they're going to turn around, and while they can't see what you're doing, you're either going to add to that pile of quantity or you're going to take it away. Then the child's going to count it again and determine, are there more? Are there less? How many were added? How many were taken away? These are just really fun activities for a child to be starting to build foundations for numeracy. We don't want to recreate the classroom in our homes. Let the classroom be the classroom. At home, we can offer extras that are fun and novel. Children like new and novel. So when you pull out different objects to count, this is enticing for them. And they can count anything. They can count, like I said, buttons or coins, or marbles, or Legos. The sky is the limit. And be creative with your child. This is a really fun time, especially if you're one of those folks that doesn't like math very much. I was one of those folks. So for me to engage with math and my daughter, it meant a lot to me because I didn't want to share my own fears of math with her. I wanted math to be fun. And in these activities, I really did see how fun math could be. And it helped build a stronger bond between my child and myself. So have fun, dig in a little bit with a few mathematical concepts, and it's going to go a long way in supporting your child's mathematical development.